Let's get back to the equity markets, and we've got Vinay Khattar, Head Research Individual Clients at Edelweiss Financial Services, joining us right now. Vinay, thanks very much for taking out the time. Let's talk about this week, an important week, a big week from an equity standpoint. What's the idea, what's the call, and what's the advice to investors?
You see, our sense at Edelweiss is that in the next 2 to 3 days, there are a couple of very important announcements. One on the Fed, which will happen today, and then the RBI announcement on 20th. Now, the Fed announcement is likely to have impact across asset classes, whether that is equities, bonds or commodities, and specifically the emerging market asset classes could be affected quite a bit. Therefore, most of the clients, the larger clients, are currently either buying some kind of a protection or are not actively trading into the market, while the news flow up to 20th is being observed. Post 20th, we could see some kind of a buying happening depending upon the kind of announcements that come out of both the Federal Reserve as well as the Reserve Bank of India.
But what is the anticipation or the expectation? I mean, taper light, that's what everyone's been talking about, anywhere between $10 to $15 billion start off of taper, and also the expectations from Mr. Raghuram Rajan. What have you been factoring in?
So on the taper side, I think the general number that has been around is about $10 to $15 billion, and the start of month that is being spoken about is with immediate effect, that is from September. There is a smaller school of thought that Fed could wait for a further while up to December. Our personal sense is that this number the tapering could begin in this month, given the very strong non-farm payroll data and the unemployment data that has been coming out of US in the recent past. So the Fed tapering will start from this month. That is one. Second, in terms of the number, our sense is that Fed may want to be more gradual. A number lower than 10 billion a month could be something which they could look at, and that is in the context that already you have seen bond yields on US 10-year paper run up quite a bit. They have touched a high of 3 percentage points. Currently they are trading at about 2.85. Now, if the taper is very, very aggressive, that means if the number in excess of $15 to $20 billion is what Fed comes to, then you could see a significant traction on the bond yields. Now, these bond yields have a lot of impact on US mortgage market, which is the key driver for the recovery in United States. And if the mortgage markets see very high bond yields, then they could begin to see lesser amount of traction and lesser amount of stability. So our sense is that the number should not be too aggressive on the Fed tapering side, and the number should well be within 10 or a lower number, $10 billion or a lower number. Now, coming to the point of what RBI stance is going to be, I think RBI, by shifting their policy meet to 20th from 18th, they have done a far more sensible thing, because US Fed announcement and how the global markets and specifically the emerging markets would react to that announcement would be a key input for the current RBI governor to take a stance on the monetary policy. The kind of tightening that we saw, the reversal in terms of monetary policy that we saw under Mr. Subba Rao a couple of months ago to support rupee, our sense is that that reversal which market is expecting may not come in at this particular point in time. Again, the key reason would be that RBI would want to take a longer look at the rupee stabilization, which is beginning to happen, as well as the trade deficit number, which is again beginning to improve. But they may want to take a look at a bit longer before they reverse some of the steps which Mr. Subba Rao took. And that is our current sense in terms of RBI monetary stance.
Okay. We were talking to Mr. Rajat Monga of Yes Bank some time back, and he said that whatever the RBI does, there will definitely be an initial impact, whether it be, leaving rates unchanged, whether it's a sudden decrease in rates that take place. So the initial impact will definitely be there. In light of that, is it just prudent to stay off banks for some time?
See, one segment of the banking, which is the public sector banks, that is a clear do not touch, and we have been advising our clients for a long while that stay away from public sector banks. Private sector banks have represented short-term plays. Yes Bank has been one of the key beneficiaries of the recent RBI announcements, where they have been able to raise a chunk of capital from international markets. Our understanding, they raised about $250 million already from the international market. RBI's announcement further in terms of FCNR deposits could lead to an inflow of about $10 to $12 billion, which could take a lot of stress away from the BOP side. So in that sense, yes, it is going to have a impact whichever way the RBI announces. A monetary easing we are not expecting, and in case they announce that, that is going to have a significant positive impact for the banking sector. But it would not be prudent to take very large bets given the uncertainty about the direction in which the RBI is likely to move, since this is Mr. Raghuram Rajan's first monetary policy meet.
At Edelweiss, which are the sectors that you're overweight and underweight on right now?
So we have been clearly overweight in terms of, we have been advising clients with long-term perspective to start looking at some of the capital goods stocks which is Larsen and Toubro within that sector. Another segment which we believe could do well is on the auto side, and within auto we are confident about Maruti Suzuki's prospects as well as Mahindra and Mahindra's. On the auto ancillary, Motherson Sumi could be an interesting bet. The sectors or the segments which could have been avoided was public sector banks as well as realty. These are the sectors which could see a higher degree of pain till the time the uncertainty lasts on the entire economic scenario. Two key plays which have been happening over last few weeks on the rupee depreciation sides have been in the pharma and the IT sector, with rupee now seeing a strong reversal, with it appreciating a bit. IT is seeing a cooling off, but our sense is that the overall IT scenario will continue to remain positive, and for a long-term investor who could be willing to invest for 1 to 2 years, IT sector, especially the mid-cap IT, could represent attractive opportunities, and this could include stocks like Mindtree and KPIT Cummins.
You spoke about auto ancillary and you gave a name like Motherson Sumi. I mean, looking at the way things are shaping up for the auto industry itself, does it make sense to probably look there as well?
Okay, let's break up the auto industry into two segments. One is the commercial vehicle side, second is the four-wheeler and the two-wheeler side. Now on the CV side, you are seeing tremendous amount of pain still playing out. CV sales are down 20-30% year on year, and that number continues to remain depressing. Our sense is that CV pain will continue for a while till the time we don't see broader economic traction picking up and happening. However, the other segment, which is the two-wheeler segment, could be very interesting at this level, because the monsoon has been very good. The rural demand for these for the two-wheelers remains very healthy and gets positively impacted based on how the rural demand shapes out and so on and so forth. On the auto ancillary side, these are contra picks because we believe that sector is in pain. So the valuations that some of the stocks that you are able to get at is quite attractive. And these are secular stories with very strong business model and very good cash flow models, which you can then bet on and pick up during bad times and stay invested over a longer period of time to make very good and handsome returns.
Would you also advise clients towards oil and gas as a sector, and not looking at oil marketing companies because there's still that overhang of that burden on the under recoveries of 14 rupees per litre on diesel prices, but companies like Reliance Industries, ONGC, are you looking at them in a different light, or probably they fall under the same umbrella?
We would separate both of them, that is the oil marketing companies and the oil explorers and oil producers like Reliance and ONGC. So oil marketing companies, primarily due to under recoveries as well as lack of clear stance of government in terms of under recovery, where you have an on and off situation. For at times government comes out very aggressively saying that we will want to make oil under recoveries as close to nil as possible, and then suddenly there is a cool off. So there is a clear lack of stance there. So oil marketing companies and the strong under recovery and relatively high under recoveries will ensure that we don't want to advise our clients to touch those particular stocks. However, coming specifically to Reliance, I think that's a reasonably good bet at this juncture, given what is happening on the in that particular segment. You have rupee, which is going to benefit them in a certain manner. You have strong shale gas numbers which are beginning to come out of US for Reliance. It is still a smaller bit of the pie, but we see a lot of traction which is happening there. Gross refining margins could continue to remain healthy or better off than what most other oil refining companies are reporting across the world, as well as the kind of money that they were losing on the retail side. Now that is beginning to become negligible. They have become EBITDA positive or positive at an operating level. So the cash consumption in other parts of the business is going to come down. So Reliance could be a key and a good bet from 1 to 2 year perspective.
Got that. Vinay, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking out the time and sharing your thoughts and views here on the channel with us. That's Vinay Khattar of Edelweiss Financial Services. We're going to take a short break. On that note, be right back.